Marketing That Works is the podcast for business owners who want to move their brand forward so that they can bring in more sales and clients. I'm Danielle Harris, and I'm bringing you what I know from more than 12 years of experience in traditional and online marketing. I have created marketing strategies for businesses of all sizes, from multi-million-dollar corporations to early-stage online businesses. Remember, some marketers chase fads. I believe in mastering the fundamentals. Recommitting to your goals requires you to commit to an identity. In last week's episode, I talked about the 4 questions you should ask yourself when you're evaluating your year. About asking yourself, what did you say that you wanted to do? What have you done so far? What worked or what didn't work? And what goals do you actually want to start working towards? So go back to episode 19 and listen to that in full, because that's going to set the stage of what we're going to be talking about today. This week, we're talking about recommitting to our goals and creating a marketing plan that supports this recommitment. And here's the thing, I know what usually happens when we're in this, all right, I'm about to double down, I'm about to recommit to what I'm going to do. You say that, okay, I'm going to post like 5 times a week, or I'm going to post 3 times a week, or whatever it is. And you're just like, okay, I'm going to send all these emails, I'm going to pitch to all these speaking things. Like, you're just like, I'm on top of it, I'm going to do all the things. And then a week or 2 goes by and that recommitment energy that you had, it's gone. And now you're just like, okay, I'm giving up on this plan all over again. My goal is for you to listen to this episode and realize that, okay, I can in fact make a plan to recommit myself to these goals, and I won't lose that steam after 2 or 3 weeks. I want you to have the tools that you need to set yourself up for the end of the year. So before we go any further, I actually want to tell you a story about recommitment that I think is going to help really set the tone of what I'm going after here and about this strategy that I'm about to tell you about. So for a very long time, I wanted to be someone who journals. Like that's what I wanted. I know a lot of us were thinking like, okay, I want to have this business. I want to grow this business. Like that's the vision that you had in your head. I had this vision in my head about being someone who journals. I pictured myself like that person that's in the airport, just like writing, that just like, oh, they look so cool. Or that person that's in the coffee shop. Like I had this like really romanticized version of what a person who journals looked like. Like I had this fancy pen, this well-worn notebook, and I was just writing stories or thoughts or whatever was coming to my mind. The only problem was that I would buy all of these notebooks and I would write in it for like a week or 2, maybe fill up 4 or 5 pages, and then just stop. I would have these like moleskin notebooks and I would spend like $30 on these things, and I'm just like, okay, I'm going to do it. I'm going to write. And I had to write 3 pages worth of stuff. Like that was an ongoing series for me. Like I remember I had this one notebook in particular, it's this red one. And I started writing it in 2014. I remember I went on a trip with a friend. So I was like, ooh, this is going to be really good. I'm going to write like a travel journal notebook, and then I'm going to use that to like kick off all of my journal writing. I did write the travel journal for like a good amount of time. And I was like, great. I had pages going and I was in a flow. Tell me why the next time I ever wrote in a journal was 2017. 2017 was the next time I wrote in that journal. And even then I wrote for maybe like another 3 pages worth of things. Like I was not in that mindset of like, I'm a person that journals. I was a person who occasionally wrote in one particular notebook. Here's the thing. I still had that vision. I still had that desire to be a person who wrote and journaled and all of those things. But it wasn't really actually until 2019 that it actually stuck. It wasn't until 2019 that I actually became that person that was writing on a regular basis. And here are the things that really pulled out. I stopped trying to be the person who tried to journal every day. I am the type of person that's just like, perfectionism just like really likes to get the best of me. I wanted to be the person that says every single day I had all of these things that I wanted to write out on there, instead of just being the person who journals. Like I write whenever it is that I write. Because here's the thing, I had proof already that perfection was not going to work for me. I went from 2014 to 2017 without writing anything. I was not perfect at doing this. And so I stopped trying to be. So instead, I decided I was going to do a few things. I put my journal right by my nightstand, and whenever I had the inkling to write, I did write, and I didn't have to do like this whole like 20-minute ritual of no filling up X amount of pages. I just wrote what I wanted to write, how I wanted to write. Sometimes it was a sentence, sometimes it was pages. Like I didn't matter. I was someone who was writing and I was journaling. And as I was doing this journaling practice, I was looking back at all the times that I did write and saying, oh my gosh, Danielle, good job. Look at all that you've written. Whether it was, 5 days in a row or 1 week and then another week. And I was like, oh, that's amazing. Because I was looking back and comparing that to that chunk between 2014 and 2017, where it was literally years without doing anything versus like, okay, like it was a 2 week gap, but then it was like 5 additional times that I was writing in this journal. I was ongoing bit by bit creating an identity of I am someone who journals, whether or not I did it every single day, once a week, once a month. Like I was someone who was creating entries into a journal. I was a journaler. It was really holding on to this identity and letting go of this idea of perfection, which I'll be so honest with you all, like perfection, like that's my arch nemesis right there. Like we go at it all the time, but letting that go helped me to adopt on this identity, which then helped me to reach my goal of becoming a person who journals regularly, and who sees themselves as a person who like, oh yeah, like I have a notebook, I know where to go to, and I have it out and ready to go, and I have entries and I have documentation of like all the things that were happening and going on. But I had to adopt this on as this is something that I am and I do, and letting go of like how many times did I do it perfectly in order for me to then adopt a practice where I was doing it regularly. So that's like a personal aspect of it, but like this same method really helped me when it comes to when I was doing my emails. When I first started my email list, I want to say that I sent a grand total of 4 emails that first year that I decided to send emails for my business. And it wasn't just like, oh, okay, like monthly emails once a month, or like I went for 1 month straight, like every Monday or something, sending out emails. No, I want to say that it was 1 email in August, 2 emails in November, another couple emails in December. That next year, I want to say that I sent 12, and it wasn't like a once a month 12. Maybe some were weekly, then I took a few months off and then sent a few more weekly, then took a few more off. But as you can see, like there was progress. I went from 4 to 12. And then that next time that I went to attempt to send emails on behalf of my business, I was doing it far more regularly. I was sending out emails once a week, then a couple times a week, until I got into a really good rhythm and consistency, because I wanted to be a person that sent regular emails to the people on my email list. It wasn't until I let go of, oh, I have to send an email every Monday or once a month on Thursdays, or like any type of cadence. It wasn't until I let that go and decided that I just wanted to be a person who sends emails as part of my marketing. When I decided that I was going to do that, my consistency started to go way up. I started to send emails multiple times a week. I started to regularly promote my email list. I looked back and was so proud of like, oh my gosh, look, I went and I sent 2 emails a week every week for the past 3 weeks, far more consistently than I did before. And then I looked back like, oh my gosh, I've been doing it for 2 months now. It wasn't until I let go of the once a week, the twice a week, all of those things, and just leaned into the identity, that my overall consistency went up, and I was able to look back and see, like, look at all of the weeks, all of the months that I've been able to keep up with this cadence. Not because I was just like, oh my gosh, I have to send it every single Tuesday, every single Thursday. It was like, no, because I really leaned into the identity of a person who regularly emails my list. All this to say, actually making progress on your goals requires you to set goals based off of the identity that you want to create. Recommitment will require you to adopt an identity and then take action based off of the identity of the person you would like to become. So, how do you craft this identity? The first mistake that I see people making when they're just saying like, okay, I have to adopt on this identity, they say like, okay, I want to adopt the identity of a person who writes every single day, or I want to adopt the identity of a person who posts 3 times a week, versus just saying, I'm going to adopt the identity of, like, say, a journaler in my case, or a person who emails, or a person who runs a coaching business. If you're a person who journals or a person who has a coaching business, there are things that you're just going to do if you adopt that identity. And when you step into that identity, you're simply going to do it. Let's say like you are a person that says, I am a journaler, but for whatever reason, you broke both of your hands. You are still the person that has the identity of I'm a person who journals. And so because you have that identity, you're going to decide like, okay, well, I can't write in this notebook, but I still can journal in a method of voice memos, or I can record myself on video. Like you find another way to make that happen because you adopt that identity. Let's say that you have the identity of I run a coaching business. And let's say you lost access to your Instagram account. You still run a coaching business, and you'll find another way to run your business. You'll decide that, okay, I lost access to this Instagram account. I'm going to create another one. I'm going to decide that I'm going to go to networking events. I'm going to go and be on LinkedIn, because you still have the identity of someone who is running a coaching business. And so just because one thing happens, you're still deciding like, okay, but this is still something that I am, that I'm going to do, and you find other ways to make it happen. So when it comes to creating your identity, I don't want you to be too hung up on posting X amount of times a week or creating this type of thing or that type of thing. I want you to still just embody, these are the things that I will do because by virtue of having this identity of being a person who runs a coaching business, who has a business, who runs whatever it is that you run. So once you have this identity of mine, whether it's I run a coaching business, I journal, I email, I want you to think about what that looks like for you. Specifically, I want you to answer these few questions. Go write them down, pause this, come back, because I really want you to think about these questions very deeply. And the first question is, what does someone who runs a coaching business do? The next question, what does someone who runs a coaching business do when they're tired? What does someone who runs a coaching business do when they're feeling great and inspired? What does someone who runs a coaching business do when they're really busy? Answering these questions is going to help you see this is how you show up in this identity no matter what is happening, whether you are sick, whether you're tired, whether you're super inspired, whether you're super busy. When you come up with these game plans that are rooted in the identity that you want to have, you will see that it's not based off of perfection and that it's all or nothing. Either I post 3 times a week or I'm done and I didn't do anything. You're seeing it from this holistic perspective of realizing that you are in fact a human, but you're a human with this identity that you want to embody and that you have plans no matter if you are sick, no matter if you are feeling super inspired, no matter what happens, you know how you want to live into this identity and that you see that there is a spectrum of that. And when you have that type of plan and strategy in place, you are going to be far more forgiving of yourself. You're going to be far more likely to want to take action and make progress. And you're not going to be like me and have a huge gap between 2014 and 2017 where you just do nothing because you were having this all or nothing mentality. You realize that actually there's a whole lot of things that I can do no matter how I'm feeling to take action and make progress towards the goals that I ultimately have. So for me, if I were going to do this exercise and I was thinking about myself, if I were feeling tired, I know that, okay, if I'm feeling tired, part of my plan says that I'm going to use old post of mine. So when I'm feeling tired and I really don't feel like marketing and showing up, I don't have to actually go and recreate something brand new. I can actually go back and see something that I posted a year and a half ago and repost that, and that is my marketing for the day. And I'm set and I'm good. And I also know that on the days where I'm feeling super inspired, that I'm going to go and I'm going to take some time to review old client intake forms and old client sales calls. And I'm going to write down so many content ideas based off of those things in particular. And I'm going to start like knocking out a whole bunch of emails because I know that there's going to be a day where I'm either tired or busy and I'm not going to feel like doing it, but I'm inspired today. So I'm going to just like go and knock a whole bunch of things out and feel super good about that. And then I know that there's going to be a day where I'm busy. I'm just going to be like, oh, thank God for myself on that day where I was feeling super inspired because all I have to do is like copy and paste this thing that I already had outlined out and put it into an email, put it into Instagram, and it's out and it's going. Like I've already prepared myself because I've embedded this identity into my own head that I know that I have a plan for no matter what's happening and no matter what's going on. And again, it's just about knowing and realizing that you aren't always going to feel that inspired version of yourself. You're going to feel down. You're going to get busy. Life is going to happen. And when you create a strategy based off of the identity that you want to hold and you take into account your full humanity, the ups and the downs, You aren't going to feel this shame when you don't want to go live, when you said that you were going to go live twice a week, or when you said that you were going to send 3 emails in a week, but you weren't able to do that. You take into account all of that and you're still able to say like, no, yep, but I'm still a coach who can run this business. And I'm still a coach who's showing up to market because that's the identity that I have. And I've already prepared for this. And it's not an all or nothing situation. And that is going to guarantee that you're actually going to keep moving forward on your goals. That is how you stay recommitted, because you realize that it's not all or nothing, that you have a whole spectrum of a plan and that you are set and that you are ready to go. So we talked a little bit about creating the identity. We talked a bit about the questions that you need to ask yourself that's going to help you getting your tactics together, whether it's showing up in X amount of ways, whether it's doing research together, things together. You have all of these questions together. But the last thing is really about community and support. You need people around you that can help you reinforce this identity and strategy that you want to put in place. Now, this can be peer groups, this could be coaching and accountability, but it is so important that you are making sure that you have people around you that are going to help you stay committed to your goal. I know that I am so thankful, not only for the peer groups that I have of people where we peer mastermind and we coach each other back and forth and we give each other ideas and inspiration, but I'm also so thankful for the people that I can go to for my own coaching, where I can get my own feedback and turn things in and say like, oh, okay, I need an outside perspective on this. That helps me stay grounded, and it helps me to be reminded of, Danielle, you have these goals that you are working towards. This is how you are going to go forward and try to get this. And when I am feeling down, they are able to reinforce to me like, it is not bad that you are feeling tired. It's not bad that you are feeling this type of way. And that just because you are feeling that way doesn't mean that this goal that you have is not possible. You can still work towards this no matter what type of situation you are working in. I know that I've worked with many of my clients, and they said that when they are feeling high, when they're just like, yeah, I'm super inspired and feeling that like high recommitment energy, they're just like, yeah, I'm good for a couple weeks. I'm good. I can go for maybe a month. But then when they get to a point where either they're tired or they've been posting for weeks and they weren't necessarily seeing the exact results that they wanted, they found it so difficult to keep that high recommitment faith. And what they end up doing is that they start feeling lower and lower, and they keep thinking that, oh, I can't do this. And they get back to where they were starting at before they were in this very high recommitment energy. This is why I feel like it is so important for you to stay surrounded by people that can help you live into this, because even when you have all of the plans, even when you ask yourself all the questions, being surrounded by people who are going to encourage you is really going to help you propel yourself and your business and your goals forward. And when I've worked with my clients, when they were in this season of, okay, I know that I really want to focus on these goals, I want to make them happen, but I can't seem to keep myself in this high energy, I come back at them with saying, you don't have to always be in this very high energy in order to be able to hit and go towards your goals. You just need to be able to say like, this is the one thing that I can manage to do. This is what I have the capacity to do. One of the biggest things that I do with my clients, what I work with them on, is building capacity, whether it's doing like 20 things because for whatever reason they're just like on this energy high and they're go, 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 or if it's like one thing that they can do. One of the things I help them to see is that you have the energy and the capacity to go towards your goal, whether it's one thing that you're doing all the time or if it's 20 things. No matter what it is, like you still have the capacity to be able to make these things happen. And being in community, being in a coaching container, working with someone that can help you to see that it is possible no matter what it is that you're going through, like that's so key, that's so important. And that's going to really help you to be able to stay in that recommitment energy. Because I think a lot of times we think the recommitment energy is just like high, like, yes, I can do all things. And yes, that is cool. That's the Bible verse. I can do all things through God who strengthens me. And at the same time, that's not always where your energy is going to feel like. You're just going to be like, this sucks. I want to quit. I don't want to do anything. And that's because for the most part, you think that what you can do is not enough to get you to your goals. And when I work with my clients, I help them to see that no matter what your energy levels are, it is enough to help you start going and inching towards your goals. And it can be possible to make your goals happen by the end of this year. I remember this one client of mine, she was launching an event and she had such high hopes and high energy at the start of it. But as she was starting to work with me, she was in the middle and she was starting to feel low. And she started to feel like, I'm doing all of these things. I've done all this stuff before. I don't know if I can hold on until the actual end date that I have for this launch to keep going. And what I did with her is I helped her to see, like, look, these are all the things that you said that you wanted to do when you were at this high energy. What are the things that you can do at this level? Can you resend this one thing that you've already created? Can you tweak this? That doesn't take that much energy. What are some things that you've already done that you can just go and share and post again? I really helped her to see, here's your capacity level right now. This is what you're at. This is how you can market your business with your current levels. How can that be enough? And it was through being able to see all the things that she could do, even with the low energy that she was at, even though her faith wasn't that high, helping her to see that there were still things that she could do that weren't going to take so much mental brain space, helped her to realize, like, okay, like, I'm not out of this. And that in and of itself helped her to get her energy back to where she wanted to go. And then she ended up having such an amazing event with perfect, ideal fit people. And she was able to have new ideas about things that she wanted to do because she allowed herself to see that even with me not being at the highest of high energies throughout this entire launch of this event, there's still things that I could do. And she had such amazing ideas that came from that. But it was only because she was able to, one, realize, okay, here is how I'm going to tap into this identity, even though I'm not at the highest of highs and I'm at the kind of a low point right now. This is what I can do. She was able to assess for herself, this is the type of person I want to be. I want to be the person that hosts this event. And because she was able to tap into that, and because she was able to have the support that she needed at that time, she was able to have such a beautiful and an amazing event that was able to help so many people. And it's because she was able to recommit to her identity, recommit to her goals, and recommit to being surrounded by people that were going to help her see the vision for herself, even during the times when she couldn't see it on her own. And this is why I love working with my clients one-on-one inside my program, The Blueprint. There are so many stories that we tell ourselves about ourselves. And I think a lot of times we don't realize that we need to recommit to telling ourselves new stories about ourselves, what's capable, and what it is that we can do. And when I work with you one-on-one, I'm helping you to see that there are so many things that you can do. So many things that you can accomplish, so many things that it is not too late to be able to do. I think at the halfway point of the year, we tend to think, I don't know if I'm still able to do such a big, high goal, and your belief starts to go down. But when you're able to tell yourself a new story and recommit to the things that you said that you wanted to do and surround yourself with people who are going to help you get there, you start to realize that, like, okay, I think this is possible. And it's not, my belief isn't at a 10 out of 10, but it's at a 6. And I can make a 6 work for right now, and I can surround myself with people who can help me see how a 6 is going to help me get to an 8 of belief, which is going to help me to get to a 10, which is going to help me get to where I eventually want to go. I'm currently taking on one-on-one clients because I want you to be able to say that I'm still committed to the goal that I set for myself at the end of December, beginning of January. I am ready to recommit to this story. I'm ready to recommit to this goal that's being possible, and I'm ready to do what it takes, no matter if I'm at the highest of high energies or I'm at the lowest of low energies. I know that even no matter where I'm at on that scale, that I'm able to bring this thing to life, and I would love to be able to help you make that into a reality. Go to the show notes and book a call. I would love to talk to you about how we can make your 2024 goal into a reality. I would love to talk to you about how you can get new clients into your coaching container. I would love to talk to you about how you can increase how it is that you talk to people on Instagram, in your emails. I would love for you to be able to tell the story to yourself. If you are a coach, you are a business owner who is able to call in the exact right people with your offer as you are right now. You don't have to be in the highest of high vibes to be able to recommit to yourself and to your goals and the people that you want to help. All right, y'all. Until next time. If you want more marketing that works right in your inbox, head to the show notes and sign up for the email list. You'll be the first to know how you can work with me on mastering your marketing.